For day 13 English, we have got a story starter that begins. It was late into the evening when the magic happened. The forest was the perfect place for a story to unfold. A sense of mystery filled the secluded wood as a swirling grey fog mischievously crept its way between the trees. After days of waiting, her transformation was complete. The queen bee held one of her many children in her outstretched hand. The moment she'd been waiting for had finally arrived. So your challenge today, Sharks, is to write another paragraph of the story and make sure you send me your writing. So a few of the skills I spotted in our waggle today were tension, just like yesterday's piece. We've got lots of tension. And the first few sentences I've put here, a hook as a starting sentence, are really hooking and engaging the reader. So it was late into the evening when the magic happened. Straight away your reader is thinking, what's the magic? They've made it a focus at the very start of the story. The second sentence also adds to that. The forest was the perfect place for a story to unfold. Straight away your reader knows exactly where the setting is, in the forest. The picture also helps us with that. And that second sentence really draws us in and makes us think, why is it so perfect and what story is about to unfold? The other two skills I found were personification. Pause the video now and see if you can spot the personification. So hopefully you spotted that the personification is here. As a swirling grey fog mischievously crept its way between the trees. Remember, personification is where we give an inanimate object, like fog, a human quality. So it's something that only humans can do. So this verb crept is something that really humans or possibly animals can do, but we know that fog can't really creep, so it's personification. And finally, I thought that the semicolon used in our second paragraph here really broke up our clause structures. See if you can use a semicolon today in your writing. Some vocabulary that you might need to understand and use today. Mischievously, one of our year 5-6 spellings as well. Have a look at the spelling of this. Meaning to be almost a little bit naughty, breaking the rules a little bit. So the grey fog mischievously crept. So we know there's something eerie about this, something a bit spooky. Secluded to mean alone. So the secluded wood adds to the mystery of the setting because we know it's not a busy place, it's not a bustling place, it's secluded. There's not many people or animals there. Transformation, meaning a big change. Our prefix trans, like transatlantic flight, might mean across the Atlantic. So transformation means that something's changing across. And here we're talking about the transformation of the queen bee. Have a think about what she might have been before and what she might be transforming to. And finally, for vocabulary, outstretched. A really simple explanation for this, we can see the two root words out and stretched, something that is stretched outwards. So her hand is stretched outwards, and this tells me that she's probably quite a friendly character, or she's got a very good relationship with her children because it says she held one of her many children in her outstretched hand. The way that I would continue the writing today would be, I want to keep up the pace and the tension of this really exciting story starter. So my model would be, almost instantly, the bees who had been surrounding her protectively soared high into the air. Their beating wings brought a deep, thudding vibration to the foggy forest. They swirled through the fog, a sea of gold and black. So you want to keep the action going, and here I can imagine the transformation taking on its next step. Have a think about how you could keep the action going and keep the reader engaged. So your sentence challenge today is taking the skill of personification that we've just discussed and using it in your own writing. Use it to describe the trees, the fog, the moss, or the wind. Pause the video now and have a little time to think. Why would authors use personification? What is the purpose of it? Okay, so authors often use personification to give the setting more of a human quality and possibly more action. So, as we say, the crept its way between the trees when we're discussing the fog, that makes us think that this forest might not be as secluded as we might initially think. So there's something eerie and mysterious to the fog. Think back to your time when we did monster calls and personifying the tree. So we can use personification like this example. The brutal wind bullied the tree into giving up its autumn leaves. When we did a monster calls, we also spoke about the skeletal branches of the tree hanging down like fingers, so we're using a simile like or as. Think about how you can use personification. And your final challenge today is to edit and up-level some very boring sentences. So firstly, we've got the forest was foggy. And I thought this was a really boring sentence, didn't engage the reader. So my example of how I could up-level it: the forest was shrouded in fog. Shrouded means covered. Or every inch of air hung thick with dense fog. We know from our science learning that dense means tightly packed or heavy. So hung thick with dense fog. Your reader immediately is thinking that it's quite a spooky place. They can infer, even though you haven't told them, so it's almost show not tell, that they wouldn't be able to see a lot in this forest because of the thick, dense fog. Think about how you can give your reader a clue for their inferences. I can't wait to read your writing today.